For years, fans have been watching the Cyrus family unravel like a slow-motion car crash. But now, Miley Cyrus is finally breaking her silence. And what she reveals isn't just about her parents' messy divorce or the viral headlines. It's about grief, betrayal, and the quiet pain of growing up in a broken home under the brightest spotlight in the world. From being America's sweetheart on Hannah Montana to navigating a fractured family dynamic in adulthood, Miley's recent interviews have confirmed what fans feared. The Cyrus family wasn't just drifting apart, it was falling to pieces. But this isn't just another celebrity breakup story. This is a tale of loyalty divided, love misinterpreted, and a daughter caught in the crossfire of a war she never asked for. The public thought they knew the truth, but Miley's voice changes everything. In 2022, after nearly 30 years of marriage, Tish and Billy Ray Cyrus officially filed for divorce. It wasn't their first time, far from it. They had filed once in 2010 and again in 2013, each time reconciling. But this time, it was final. While their joint statement painted the picture of a peaceful separation, filled with mutual love and respect, the reality was far from serene. Behind the scenes, insiders say the tension had been building for years. Billy Ray had been living in Tennessee, while Tish had quietly settled in California. By the time the divorce was finalized, they had already been living separate lives for over 2 years. The physical distance only mirrored the emotional gulf that had grown between them, and when they each moved on almost immediately, with Tish dating Prison Break actor Dominic Purcell and Billy Ray going public with Australian singer Fire Rose, the cracks within the family deepened. It wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was the start of a quiet civil war within the Cyrus family. The internet quickly noticed what the family wasn't saying out loud. There were clear lines being drawn. Miley, Brandy, and Trace stood firmly by their mother's side, attending her wedding, posting celebratory messages, and surrounding her with love. On the other hand, Noah and Brayson remained close with Billy Ray, appearing in photos and family moments with their father while noticeably absent from Tish's side. To fans who had watched the Cyrus family grow up together, it was heartbreaking. Where once they were a tight-knit unit, now they seemed like two separate families sharing the same last name. The question began circulating. What happened behind the scenes that caused such a deep divide? And why were the children choosing sides? The speculation only intensified when fans started noticing that some siblings weren't even following each other on social media anymore. Just when fans thought the Cyrus family drama couldn't get more shocking, the internet exploded with a wild rumor that Tish's new boyfriend, Dominic Purcell, may have previously dated her daughter, Noah. Multiple sources claimed Noah and Dominic had a casual on and off relationship and that Tish was fully aware before pursuing him herself. The rumors were so intense that even Noah couldn't stay quiet. When someone left a crude comment suggesting she and her mom had both been romantically involved with the same man, Noah responded with a now viral clapback. "Hey, real grandma, I'm so sorry, but will you please just choke on the fattest?" The message was raw, angry, and filled with pain. The fallout was immediate. Noah and Tish stopped following each other. Noah leaned into her bond with Billy Ray, and the internet took sides. Was it real? Was it exaggerated? Either way, the damage was done, and the family fracture deepened. Tish Cyrus had stayed quiet for most of the chaos, until she sat down with her daughter Brandy on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And what she revealed left fans stunned. She opened up about years of emotional isolation, admitting that she and Billy Ray had effectively been living apart long before the divorce. During the pandemic, he returned to Tennessee while she remained in California. That physical distance became symbolic of something deeper, the emotional void between them. Tish confessed that she had stayed in the marriage far longer than she should have, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over after nearly 3 decades. She described the period as one of the darkest times in her life, revealing she had suffered a complete psychological breakdown after losing both her mother and her marriage in the same year. Her raw honesty resonated with thousands of fans who had followed her picture-perfect life from the outside, but now saw the pain behind the curtain. While Tish was quietly rebuilding her life, Billy Ray Cyrus's whirlwind romance with Australian singer Fire Rose was unraveling at full speed. And this time, the fallout was impossible to ignore. After marrying in 2023, just months after Tish's wedding to Dominic Purcell, Billy Ray and Fire Rose presented a united front. But behind closed doors, things were spiraling. Sources close to the family said Miley and her siblings were deeply unsettled by their father's sudden decisions, with one insider telling Radar Online that Miley tried to stage a sit-down with Billy Ray, urging him to sign a prenup and protect his legacy. The concern wasn't just about love, it was about the fear that everything Billy Ray had built, from H.E. Breaky Heart to Hannah Montana, was at risk of being divided in half. By 2024, the concerns turned into crisis. The once giddy relationship between Billy Ray and Fire Rose devolved into a highly public and bitter divorce. Family tensions boiled over when Trace Cyrus took to social media to share shocking claims, accusing his father of threatening him with legal action simply for expressing concern about his mental and emotional well-being. Fans were floored. This wasn't just a messy breakup, it was a full-blown family fracture playing out in real time. Trace's rare public outburst confirmed what many had suspected for months, that things inside the Cyrus household were darker and more fractured than the public had been led to believe. The drama exposed a heartbreaking shift within the Cyrus family, one that couldn't be covered up with throwback photos or vague statements about love and respect. Billy Ray's choices weren't just isolating him from his kids, they were pushing them to take action. From legal threats to emotional pleas, it was clear that his children were no longer standing on the sidelines. And while Tish was healing and moving forward, Billy Ray was caught in a downward spiral, with Fire Rose by his side one minute, and on the opposing end of a legal battle the next. The story that once looked like an unlikely love story had quickly turned into a cautionary tale of fractured trust and family heartbreak. In 2024, Miley Cyrus finally reached the peak of her music career, winning her very first Grammy Award. After years of reinvention, heartbreak anthems, and chart-topping hits, this was her moment. But while the world was applauding her talent, fans were already dissecting something much deeper. What wasn't said? As Miley stood on stage, thanking her team, her mom, and everyone who had supported her journey, one name was missing. Billy Ray Cyrus, her father, her former co-star, her duet partner in Hannah Montana. The movie wasn't mentioned. And when Miley ended her speech with the icy line, "I don't think I forgot anyone," the silence became deafening. That single sentence sent shockwaves through social media. Fans were quick to point out that this wasn't just an oversight, it was intentional. For someone who had grown up in the shadow of her father's country music legacy, and once shared a stage with him as both daughter and Disney icon, the omission felt like a public break. It confirmed what insiders and fans had long suspected. The emotional distance between Miley and Billy Ray wasn't just tabloid gossip, it was painfully real. This wasn't just about a trophy, it was about a daughter using her spotlight to draw a boundary in front of the world. The emotional weight of the moment hit fans hard, especially those who had grown up watching the father-daughter duo sing "Butterfly Fly Away," a ballad of love, growth, and unconditional support. The contrast between that innocent harmony and the quiet, deliberate snub at the Grammys felt like watching a childhood memory dissolve. For many, it was the final confirmation that the Cyrus family rift wasn't just behind the scenes anymore. It was playing out in front of millions, in a room full of cameras, applause, and one very pointed silence. Just when fans were convinced that the rift between Miley and her father was permanent, Billy Ray Cyrus dropped a nostalgic bombshell. In May 2025, he posted a throwback video of him and Miley singing together during happier times. The caption read, "Can't wait to see this young lady. Crazy how time flies." Instantly, speculation exploded. Was this a peace offering? A genuine sign that father and daughter were rebuilding their bond after years of tension? Or was it just another carefully timed post designed to soften public perception? The post hit hard because it wasn't a staged family photo. It was a memory, one that reminded fans of who they used to be. But the calm didn't last long. Eagle-eyed followers noticed that around the same time, Tish Cyrus appeared to unfollow Miley on Instagram, sparking fresh rumors of a new mother-daughter fallout. The internet ran wild with theories. Was Miley caught in the middle again? Was her attempt to reconnect with Billy Ray causing friction with Tish? Before the headlines could spiral further, Miley stepped in with a rare public statement. "My mama and I are too tight for anything to come between us. She doesn't know how to work her phone." It was classic Miley, equal parts protective, playful, and brutally honest. But she didn't stop there. She acknowledged that her relationship with her father had gone through difficult seasons, but added, "Bridges have been built." The choice of words wasn't flashy, but it was powerful. To fans, it didn't feel like a rehearsed press release or a polished PR campaign. It felt like a real daughter navigating the heartbreak and complexity of trying to repair a family in public view. Miley wasn't pretending everything was perfect. She was acknowledging the mess, the history, and the healing. And that quiet authenticity was what made it resonate. Whether it was reconciliation or just a first step toward it, the moment showed growth. For the first time in a long time, it felt like the Cyrus family wasn't breaking news. They were finding peace, or at least trying to. In a rare and deeply personal interview with the New York Times, Miley Cyrus peeled back the curtain on her family's years-long turmoil. And what she revealed wasn't just emotional, it was transformative. For the first time, she spoke candidly about the divorce of her parents, not as a child caught in the middle, but as an adult woman who had quietly carried the emotional weight of their relationship for years. She admitted that the split had triggered something profound in her, a reckoning with her own identity, her own loyalties, and the unspoken trauma passed down between generations. What made this interview different wasn't just what she said, it was how honest she was willing to be about the pain. Miley confessed that for a long time, she had internalized her mother's heartbreak. She carried her mother's wounds like they were her own, resenting her father not necessarily for what he did to her, but for what he had done to Tish. That misplaced grief had clouded her view, especially during the peak of the family's split. But now, standing in her 30s with distance and clarity, she was learning to see both of her parents not as a unit or even as role models, but as flawed human individuals trying their best. She said she completely adores Dominic Purcell, Tish's new husband, and also acknowledged her father's right to seek happiness, even if his choices once felt painful or confusing. These words weren't easy, but they were freeing. For Miley, this wasn't about reconciliation for the cameras. It was about emotional maturity, about letting go of inherited hurt and choosing compassion over bitterness. She emphasized that she no longer sees her parents through the lens of her childhood, but through the eyes of someone who understands what it means to be heartbroken, to be human, and to heal. It was a powerful moment of growth, one that reminded fans why Miley continues to resonate so deeply. Not because her life is perfect, but because, like so many of us, she's learning how to make peace with the past while stepping into a more grounded, forgiving future. To a generation who watched Miley and Billy Ray on Hannah Montana, their bond was sacred. It was wholesome. It was real. Seeing them grow distant, and seeing Miley leave her father out of the most important speech of her career, felt like losing a piece of childhood. But real families are messy. They break, they fight, they drift. And sometimes they find their way back, not through grand gestures, but through forgiveness, maturity, and love. Miley's story isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about healing. And maybe, just maybe, she's finally flying free.